One of the problems that we face today is the issue of overconsumption and waste in the home. Too many families feel that they need more stuff in their homes in order to be happy, but overconsumption only contributes more to our daily waste, which is a problem. In a world where landfills are growing and resources are shrinking, we have to cut back on our waste. According to Garbology by Edward Humes, each person in America will waste around 102 tons of trash in their lifetime. This is an enormous amount of waste, and much of this waste starts with the things we buy for the home. We're constantly bombarded by advertisements claiming that we need to buy the latest phone or the newest car, and only then will we be happy. We're always being told we have to have the next best thing. You're out at the mall and you go to the clothing store just to look around. You have plenty of clothes at home already that you don't even wear, but you're tired of what you have after seeing what else is out there. Next thing you know, you're buying $200 worth of shirts that you didn't even need. Getting new stuff isn't inherently bad, but it contributes to our waste problem, and waste is definitely a problem. If you don't buy something in the first place, then there's no need to throw it away. Obviously, we have to buy things in order to live, but cutting back on what we buy can help. Avoiding impulsive purchases can especially help when cutting back on waste. Not only does waste from overconsumption negatively impact the environment, but it negatively impacts our wallets. It shouldn't come as a surprise that overconsumption leaves you with less money. Before going shopping, remember to take an inventory of what you already have, so you can avoid buying things that you forgot you already had plenty of. Getting presents and buying new things can make people happy in the moment, but this happiness doesn't last forever, and it's a problem when people continue to buy more and more things, thinking that will lead to a happier life and more satisfaction. Solely relying on material items to provide fulfillment will fail once products lose their newness. Of course, our impulsive buying habits just contribute more to the clutter in our homes, and because there's limited space in the home, the accumulation of these impulsive purchases can take over, create disorganization, and cause stress to the person living in the home. I can't speak for everyone, but I know that living in a disorganized mess can cause me stress. We as Americans especially value our personal freedom, and while limiting our consumption habits may seem like a violation of this freedom, sometimes we have to make sacrifices now in order to protect those freedoms later on. For example, if we deplete all our resources now without setting any limits, we may not have those resources later on. Most people would probably agree that being wasteful isn't something to be proud of, but it's not an issue that many people seriously act on. It's difficult to hold ourselves accountable for our waste when we don't see the overflowing landfills we're contributing to daily. But if we expect to reduce our waste, we have to hold ourselves accountable now. Cutting back to the bare essentials would look different for each person, but any sort of cutback is making a positive impact, big or small. If you're used to having a $10,000 annual clothing budget, you're probably not going to cut back to shopping twice a year at secondhand stores, but you can still make cuts somewhere. Don't think that your efforts aren't making a difference. In order to battle the habits of overconsumption and waste, you need to make a commitment now that you will cut back on wasteful shopping habits. Even if you're not used to practicing frugal shopping habits, it's never too late to start. Any sort of effort, big or small, to cut back on wasteful behaviors is going to help reduce the daily trash in our landfills. Many families already have more than enough items in their households, and those items may not even be benefiting the family at all. In committing to a simple lifestyle of buying and wasting less, it's best to start with a clean slate. Organize your belongings and sell or donate what you don't really need. You'll be left with more space and more money. In order to follow through with a simplistic lifestyle that focuses on buying and wasting less, you have to implement a new system for which your household functions. For example, agree that your family will only go shopping for clothes at secondhand stores twice a year, or create a grocery list before you go shopping and commit to only buying those items. It may be encouraging to see how a more simplistic lifestyle will save you money, so keep track of your budget before you monitored your consumption and a year after you began monitoring, and see how much money you're saving by switching to a lifestyle that resists overconsumption and waste. Also track how much less you're wasting with this lifestyle. You can also reduce wasteful behaviors and save money by cutting back on your driving time, your energy use, and your water consumption. Turning off lights, carpooling, walking, and using less water are all practical examples of how to cut back on these wasteful behaviors. Any step towards sustainability and away from overconsumption and waste is beneficial. You've probably heard the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle, but another word you need to remember is refuse. We've often been offered things we don't really need. Even on your way to class, you may be offered a flyer about an issue you don't really care about. Rather than taking the flyer that you're just going to throw away or recycle, we can simply refuse what we don't need. Reducing what we buy is key to battling our overconsumption habits. I understand that buying products is an essential part of our lives, but that's no excuse to carelessly buy everything that catches our eye. Reducing the products we buy will reduce our waste, and it will also keep producers from continuing to overproduce what we don't need. Reusing what we do have is a great solution for products that we no longer need. If we're not using a product to its full potential, then it shouldn't be sitting in our homes and taking up space. Giving unneeded items to secondhand stores or donating those items is a good way to get rid of clutter while benefiting someone else who may have a use for it. Recycling is a helpful practice in combating wastefulness. However, it should be the last option. Many people feel that they are environmentally friendly because they recycle, but refusing, reducing, and reusing should be the first goals. However, recycling is much better than using non-recyclables that will be hoarded in landfills, so at the very least, recycle what you can't reuse. Lastly, take pride in the fact that you're making a difference by reducing your overconsumption habits. Don't be discouraged in thinking that you're not making a difference, because you are. You're only responsible for you and how much you waste. So even if others don't value this lifestyle, take pride in knowing you're being economical and environmentally friendly.